AI was used to make this production.
The first thing Daniel noticed was how quiet the forest had become. It wasn't the peaceful quiet hikers talk about, the kind that settles your mind. This was a hollow quiet. No insects, no birds. Even the winds seemed to hesitate before touching the canopy over the Otter Trail. "Easy, Rex," he muttered. The German shepherd walked just ahead of him. Usually confident, tail held high like a banner. Now it hung low, twitching. Rex kept glancing back, ears pivoting to sounds Daniel couldn't hear. They had started early that morning, descending through thick coastal forests towards the rocky shoreline, there where the air smelled of salt and damp earth. It should have been perfect, Daniel's idea of escape. No signal, no people, just him and the dog. But somewhere after the third suspension bridge, something had shifted. Rex stopped abruptly. "What is it?" Daniel asked, scanning the trees. The dog didn't bark, he didn't growl. He simply stared off the trail into a dark cluster of ferns and tangled roots. His lips pulled back just enough to show a little bit of teeth. Daniel followed his gaze. He saw nothing, just shadows. Still, he felt it, that prickling sensation at the base of his skull, the instinct that something was watching. "Come," he said, a little too sharply, but Rex didn't budge. Daniel tugged the leash. After a moment's resistance, the dog relented, but he walked closer now, brushing Daniel's leg as if unwilling to drift even a step away. They continued. As the trail narrowed, as it approached a series of cliffs where caves punctured the rock like black wounds, Daniel remembered reading about them. Tidal caves, some accessible only at low tide. Dangerous, very dangerous, but so beautiful. As they rounded a bend, the ocean came into view below, churning against jagged stone. The wind returned here, carrying the roar of waves and the metallic scent of brine. Daniel exhaled, relief. "See, nothing," he says to the dog, but actually to himself. But Rex didn't respond. His gaze was fixed ahead. One of the caves loomed larger than the others. Its mouth yawned wide, a perfect oval of darkness carved into the cliff face. The tide was low enough to expose a narrow strip of rocks, leading inside. Something about it drew Daniel in. He shouldn't have gone closer, but curiosity has a way of overriding caution, especially when fear feels irrational. "Stay," he told Rex, unclipping the leash. The dog didn't obey. He whined softly, stepping in front of Daniel as if to block him. "It's fine," Daniel insisted. He moved around the dog and approached the cave. The temperature dropped immediately. The air felt wrong, stale, thick, as if it hadn't moved in years. The light from outside barely penetrated beyond a few meters, swallowed by the black interior. Daniel took out his phone and switched on the flashlight. The beam cut through the darkness, illuminating wet rock walls, slick with algae. The ground sloped gently upwards. Then he saw it. Marks. Deep grooves etched into the stone floor. Not random, but parallel, as if something enormous had dragged itself repeatedly in and out of the cave. Daniel crouched, running his finger along one of the grooves. Too wide to be human. Too deliberate to be natural. Behind him, Rex barked, sharp, urgent. Daniel turned. The dog stood at the cave entrance, rigid, eyes locked on something beyond Daniel's shoulder. A low sound filled the cave. Not quite a growl, not quite a breath. Something in between. Daniel's chest tightened. He swung the flashlight deeper into the cave. At first, he saw nothing. Then the beam caught movement. Something shifted in the darkness, a shape too large to comprehend, unfolding slowly, like a shadow detaching itself from the rock. The smell hit him next. Rotting meat, salt, something ancient, something wrong. Daniel stumbled backwards. The thing moved forward. It was tall, impossibly tall. its head nearly brushing the cave ceiling. Its limbs were elongated, jointed round like a man stretched beyond proportion. Its skin, if it was skin, tongue-tied over bone, grey and slick. Its eyes reflected the light. Not like an animal's, like wet stones catching a dull glow. Daniel couldn't move. The creature tilted its head, studying him. Then it stepped into the light. The sound of its movement was wet and dragging. Its long arms brushed the cave walls, leaving streaks of dark residue. Rex lunged. The bark echoed violently as the dog charged past Daniel, teeth bared. "No!" Daniel shouted. Too late. The creature moved faster than anything that sizes the right to move. One arm shot out, impossibly quick, and caught Rex mid-air. There was a sharp crack. The dog's body went limp instantly. Daniel screamed. The creature lifted the dog closer to its face, sniffing, its nostrils flaring. Then he dropped him, like garbage. Rex hit the floor with a dull, final thud. Something inside Daniel broke. He turned and ran. Out of the cave, across the slick rock, back towards the trail. His boots slipped, his breath tore at his lungs. Behind him, he heard it emerging. The scrape of his limbs against the stone, the heavy dragging rhythm of pursuit. It wasn't rushing. It didn't need to. Daniel reached the trail and scrambled upwards, branches whipping at his face. His mind screamed at him to keep going, not to look back. But he did. The creature stood at the cave entrance, half in shadow, watching him. He didn't follow. Not yet. Daniel ran until his legs gave out. He collapsed against a tree, gasping, heart hammering so hard it hurt. It didn't chase him. Why? The thought festered. Why let him go? He didn't sleep that night. He found a small clearing and sat with his back to a tree, clutching a branch like a weapon. Every sound made him flinch. Every shadow felt alive. Hours passed. Then the sound came. A slow, dragging movement through the underbrush. Closer. Daniel froze. The creature stepped into the clearing. It had followed him after all. But now, under the pale moonlight, Daniel saw it more clearly. Its body was scarred, old wounds crisscrossing its grey flesh. Its mouth hung slightly open, revealing rows of blunt, broken teeth. It wasn't just hunting. It was starving. The realization hit him with sickening clarity. It hadn't chased him earlier because it didn't need to rush. It knew he had nowhere to go. The creature took another step forward. Daniel tried to stand, but his legs failed him. "Please," he whispered, though he didn't know why. The creature paused, its head tilted again, as if considering. Then it lunged. Daniel didn't even have a time to scream. Days later, another hiker would pass that same stretch of trail. They would notice the silence. They would see the cave. And if they looked closely, they would find fresh grooves in the stone, wider than before, deeper, as if something had grown and fed and would not need to emerge again for another 40 years.